press, try not to do too much. But
Shot clock to 13.
But Greg, that's also easier said than done.
Yes.
Against a smothering defense.
Juf turning and hitting, and there it is. Fairfield takes the lid off the basket as Dija Juf, the redshirt senior from Senegal, is able to connect.
And what do you do when you need a bucket? You go to your third-team All-MAAC player, able to get a nice post-up opportunity for her.
McClure wasting no time with the answer. The senior from Springfield Gardens, New York, out of high school power Archbishop Malloy.
Nice job by McClure working that mid-range there against the zone defense.
A kick on Thornton, substitution. Bobcats back to their bench as Martin returns. And Faye will return as well. We've seen Taylor Hurd come on, the junior from Quakertown, Pennsylvania, the conference's 6th player of the year. As if their starting lineup wasn't daunting enough, they have the best bench player in the conference.
Just a few years back, Fabry's unit was so talented, she would platoon sub, 5 in, 5 out, and that second unit was just as good as the first unit.
Shot clock to 5. They got to go from the corner and hitting, knocking it down. It's Casey Foley.
It's good driving kick basketball there to get Foley a look. Foley shoots at 36% from 3. Maybe that can give the Stags some confidence here. It's going to start on this then, though, Greg. You got to get some stops.
You have to slow down this offense. Quinnipiac off to the good start. Martin the pull-up, that's short. And Kramer controls the rebound.
I think Fairfield would sign for that shot, though. A contested mid-range two-pointer.
Well, after Quinnipiac started 5 out of 7 from the field, yes, anything where they're trying to slow them down a bit. Under 4 to play here. First quarter action. Shot clock to 6. Foley looking for help. Timer to 2. In trouble. Jumps to pass, and Hurd is on the scene.
A great defensive possession there. Quinnipiac basically switching every ball screen.
Faye in rhythm. Shorts it, but Stroutmanet battling down low. Hurd can tee it up left wing. Too long, and Lopez Senechal battling in close to haul in that rebound. How about the season for Lou Lopez Senechal? Yes, Rookie of the Year, but how about winning Rookie of the Year when you don't play the first 9 games?
How impressive is that? Senechal, a very talented player, just about 12 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and a player that can get her own shot and create offense and create for other teammates. And let's see her try to get involved here with her team down early.
Native of France, wasn't eligible right away, then begins to practice, has a injury, has to miss a few more games, and then finally gets out there and doesn't score her first game, then goes double figures in her next, and it's been off to the races ever since. Coach Fabry disagreeing perhaps with that foul on Stroutmanet.
Yeah, I would agree with her disagreement, Greg.
Little bump there on the way through. Then the 3. That's short, and Hurd controls. After Casey Foley had knocked one down earlier looking to connect, not the case. Dangerous pass. Hurd comes up with it back to Thornton for 3. A fight for it, and it's controlled, and Rachel Hakes has come on, the freshman from Woodbury, Minnesota. Lopez Senechal to the ground again, and a little slow to get up as she goes down right in front of us here. Foul on Thornton.
A bit of a collision here, advancing that basketball in transition. Oh, yeah, and she turned her right ankle as she landed.
And the hard part there is that Lopez Senechal not really having the room to come down after jumping for that pass. But seems to be okay. Joe Frager in his 12th season, 21st overall as a head coach, and he's a guy that preaches defense, so I have to imagine he'd love to slow down this Quinnipiac team after they get off to the quick 14-point burst. Lopez Senechal looking for Armstrong. Faye is there, and then a foul, and probably a good foul as the Bobcats were about to get out to a 3-0 break.
Yes, that's a good foul in that situation. That would have been 2 points for the Bobcats, and right now their defense is just causing the Stags so many problems. And it's really because of their versatility on defense. They're switching every ball screen. and it's been tough for the Stags to really get any open areas to penetrate to the basket.
Down low, Stroutmanet, she can't finish, and while Fairfield is struggling on offense, their defense now has held Quinnipiac scoreless for close to 3 minutes.
Yeah, Quinnipiac over their last 5 right now.
So promising signs here towards the end of this first quarter for Fairfield. Lopez Senechal. The long 2 is not there.
I think that's the player right there, Senechal, that they have to work to get open and let her start creating some offense.
You mentioned it. Work through your top players. Juf, Lopez Senechal, McClure. Little hesitation dribble. Shot clock to 5. Hurd, good dump to Faye, and she puts it home right in front.
It's great offense against the zone. The skip to Hurd on the other side of the floor. She drives baseline, drops off to a big. It's great poise and execution with the shot clock running down.
And that breaks the scoring drought for Quinnipiac that had grown to more than 3 minutes. Kramer now. Nowhere to go, but she has Lopez Senechal for 3. Just rattles out. Juf. Kick it back out. New life now for Fairfield on offense. First quarter coming to a close here in Albany. Quarterfinal action here in the MAAC Women's Basketball Tournament. Almost tipped. Shot clock to 8. Lopez Senechal. Around the back now, Armstrong. Kramer lets fly.
Just another phenomenal job of half-court defensive basketball.
Nothing was easy. Every pass contested. Shot clock is off. Just 14 seconds and counting left in this first quarter. The 1 seed Quinnipiac off to the good start. Faye to 5. McClure to 3. The kick out. Hurd lofts it up. Rattles out. Tossed it up. Almost a 2-hand chest pass. It just rattled out. But otherwise, all things considered, Quinnipiac, as expected, a strong start. They lead Fairfield 16-5. Their defense leading to offense. Jen Faye leading the way. Second quarter on the way here at the Times Union Center. Number 1 seeded Quinnipiac ahead of Fairfield 16-5. And so far, Steve, this is textbook Quinnipiac. They're doing the job offensively, and then they are stifling on defense. Fairfield just 2 of 12 from the field.
And we'll see if there's any adjustments here for Fairfield and how they're going to attack this Quinnipiac defense. And I actually like the play that they tried to draw up there. Maybe a bounce pass would have been better, but they cleared out a side. They dribbled at Senechel, tried to take her back door to use the aggressive defense against Quinnipiac, but just couldn't execute.
Yeah, when you're going to over-pursue, it could leave you susceptible for a little backdoor pass play there. Kramer just off the mark on her dish. Martin looking inside for Stroutmanet. Working on Juve. Fairfield quick to guard that. They'll let McClure fly. And Juve comes down with it. Fay with the foul.
Now, what's hurting, I think, Fairfield is that they need to try to get some more stops and get down the floor and run for a purpose. They're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the MAAC. They're third in the league in three-point field goal percentage in MAAC play. So try to beat that defense down the floor and get some threes up in transition before the defense is able to set up.
Juve, the quick turn. Can't get the friendly roll, but that was part of what you're talking about. Quick action, get to the basket and go.
That's a good look for Juve. Good action there to get her a post up.
McClure floats it up, banks it in, countered and one. Aaron McClure moving towards the hoop, and the floater goes.
And McClure does all of her damage for the most part, mid-range and in. Such a talented and skilled basketball player. It's a good call. And Juve did hit her on the way up there. But look at that. Poise, patience, comes to a jump stop, under control.
Stroutmanet on the putback, can't finish. Could have been a big trip down the court for Quinnipiac on offense. You mentioned McClure, all MAAC first team selection, and it is all inside the three-point line. Only 2 made threes on the year. She is doing it in the mid-range and close to the basket. Kramer open for 3, knocks it down. Sam Kramer able to hit, and she has shot the ball well from deep in conference play, approaching 50% on made threes from downtown.
She leads the league in three-point field goal percentage in MAAC games. That's a great look. The whole defense came over to help on Juve posting up, so skip pass got her an open look.
But as they have, Quinnipiac has an answer immediately. Fay, the step-out jumper, and a 20-8 lead for Quinnipiac.
Well, how talented are the bigs for the Bobcats? Fay, Stroutmanet.
Fun to watch. Their inside-outside players travel here. Wave off the layup on the floater from Kramer. Quinnipiac will bring on Paige Warfel, the junior. Just about 2 minutes gone by, second quarter. This Bobcat team looking to get their first win here in the conference tournament. Looking for a three-peat when it comes to MAAC championships. Have gone to the NCAAs the last 2 years, 3 out of the last 4 years. And the last team that they lost to in a conference game, it was Fairfield. But it was a long time ago. That was back in February of 2017.
Legal screen here called on the Stags. And it's on Juve. That's going to be her second, so she's going to have to come out.
Second look there. And so that's an additional potential problem for Fairfield. The defense of Quinnipiac, the offensive struggles, of course, slowing down this Quinnipiac offense, and then foul trouble. Fay takes a look around the way. Hurd working for Warfel in a reach-in. Second look here at the foul down low. This one going against Andrea Hernan-Gomez, the freshman from Spain, and now Fairfield on the move. Here's Kramer leading the break. Pull-up J's on the way. And too strong, McClure controls.
Those are the opportunities you have to take advantage of. You get some runouts in transition. I like the jump stop pitch back, trying to get a 3.
That would have been nice. Had players filling lanes, could have gone for the triple there. Warfel finds herself open, and she'll get the friendly roll here to knock that down. 22-8 now, Quinnipiac in front.
Mid-range right now against that zone is really hurting Fairfield. They have to do a better job of contesting that shot.
Foley for 3. Too short there. Good fight for it from Katie Armstrong. But it's all Quinnipiac. Here's Edel Thornton. Warfel can't get the friendly roll there after the last shot bounced in. And now Lopez Seneschal leads the break around the back, floater on the way, and that's why she is the Rookie of the Year in this conference, one-on-one, coast-to-coast action.
And she's known as a player who can create her own shot, and she beats everybody down the floor. Nice move at the top there, and gets into the lane and is able to get dribble penetration that has been very rare for Fairfield so far in this first half.
This is where Quinnipiac continues to live, the mid-range. You talked about breaking that zone, and this is music to Erin McClure's ears. She lives in that painted area in that 12-foot range.
Yes, and Fairfield, again, has to do a better job. You can't let the ball get to the high post, but when you do, you have to go and guard it.
Foley comes back with an answer. Casey Foley hitting her second triple of the afternoon.
It looks like Fairfield's starting to pick up a little bit of rhythm on the offensive end. Now, can they get consistent stops here?
Baseline J. Faye is short on it, and this is where Fairfield can try and turn the tide. Get the stop on defense and then turn that into something on the offensive end. Not quite a 5-in, 5-out, but Quinnipiac has 3 waiting to sub in. Foley's turned away. McClure swats that one on the drive.
That was a great take by Foley. Looked like she had an open layup, but McClure came out of nowhere to block that shot.
But then the travel. Looking to set up on the offensive end. McClure with the shuffle. And now here come the substitutions. Stroutmanet returning. Mackenzie DeWeese coming on, and Brittany Martin back in. Second look at the block.
That would have been 2 points, but McClure comes over. Great block shot. To me, if I'm watching Quinnipiac play defense, I'd like to try to spread them out. Fairfield runs really good stuff. They're screen to screener. That's a second moving screen now called on the Stags. But I'd look to spread out Quinnipiac. Go 4 out, 1 in, try to get the ball into the post.
So some possible adjustments on the way for Fairfield. They're getting in a bit of a rhythm on the offensive end. Casey Foley knocking down the triple. Timeout called. Back with more to Albany after this.
What?
Just about midway through the second quarter here, quarterfinal action. Let's take a look at the MAAC Women's Championship bracket presented by New York Lotto. This is what happened in first round action yesterday, and that's how Fairfield arrived in this matchup. A 74-69 win over Niagara. That's 74 points. That's their high water mark when it comes to points scored this year. They could use more of that here today against Quinnipiac, the #1 seed who earned a bye.
Fairfield jumped out early on Niagara, and now trying to do it in a different style, come from behind. Starts with getting stops.
Martin. Pull-up is there, rattles it home.
That mid-range shot in the middle there, we got to get a percentage of what Bobcats are shooting in this game, because they have been lights out from that area on the floor.
Oh, crushing right now from anything inside the three-point arc. Foul goes on Strautman. You look at their numbers here, and I won't attempt to do the quick math, but they are 11 of 24 overall from the field, but 2 of 9 from 3. So you see not a great percentage from the three-point area. Knock those out of their percentage, they're doing a pretty good job.
As a team, they only shoot 27% from 3. So a lot of their damage is done mid-range and in. And they're getting those looks right now, and I think the Stags have to adjust their defense.
Hernan Gomez to the hoop. Nicely done. Andrea Hernan Gomez, the freshman from Madrid, Spain.
That's a great take there. Strong move. An easy basket. It's hard to come by.
Here's Faye. Talked about the three-point shooting from Quinnipiac. They have players that can knock down threes, as Warfel lets fly. But you don't get the sense that any one of these players is running to the three-point line to try and get their look from downtown, as Hernan Gomez is tied up a jump ball, much to the dismay of the Fairfield fans, and the arrow in favor of Quinnipiac.
Well, they run really just great offense against the zone here that the Stags are playing. They take their time to shoot, and they're trying to get high percentage looks. But you see in transition, though, that they will run, and they will run and have great spacing, and they'll look to get shots up, and they share the basketball, and they will shoot the 3 in transition.
Quinnipiac comes right back. Counted and the foul. What a frustrating sequence there for Hernan Gomez, right, Steve? She thinks she has the rebound, then gets tied up. Jump ball goes against Fairfield, and then the foul, and now a three-point play.
Three-point play, yes, and that's frustrating. Anytime you're playing a 1 seed, a team like Quinnipiac that's so dominant, you need things to break your way too. And a tough sequence there.
Here's Foley. She has 2 threes. Make it 3 threes. Casey Foley, the senior from Ardsley, New York, connecting again.
That is their strength, their three-point shooting, and they're going to need to hit more of those in this game to come back. And that's a good look off a screen for Foley.
You're spot on. That's how you're going to battle back against this Quinnipiac team. And then a travel. So a couple of shuffles now for Aaron McClure, as good as she's been today.
I like the Stags bench. They're into it. They're fired up. And see if you can get 2 in a row here now. Get some momentum. I like this. Use the pin down screen. Get shooters open.
And I'm sure Quinnipiac will be keeping a close eye on Casey Foley. Thornton guarding her closely. They're looking for Foley. Faye is right there. Shot clock to 10. Who's going to help her? Kramer working, 5 on the timer. It's a look for Armstrong. Well, they got a good look, and then on the follow, Hernan Gomez banks it in.
That's good basketball from Fairfield. Driving kick. And then Hernan Gomez, a great rebound there and finish. And Fairfield chipping away at it.
They've got it down to 9. And they've started to shoot the basketball better. 5 of their last 7. Shot clock to 10. Warfel in trouble. Timer to 2. Thornton forcing it up. It's blocked. Lopez Seneschal getting a piece. Here come the Stags now. Hernan Gomez looking for Foley, who's ready to load it up for the triple. Under 2 to play. First half action here. Foley on the move. Floater on the way. Just rimmed out. a fight, and it'll go against the Stags. Foul against Fairfield.
Fairfield does a great job of running their stuff and running their sets. That was some great screen action, flare screen, and Foley's able to get into the lane. I thought that shot was going to go down, a little double clutch play. Fairfield looks like they're getting a little bit more confidence, a little bit more rhythm on the offensive end, more comfortable. And they're right in it here. You got to just stay in it, right? Give yourself an opportunity come in the fourth quarter.
You have a deficit that they faced in the earlier stages of this first half as Warfel goes to the line after Fairfield's over the limit. A double-figure deficit, to our earlier point, you're not going to get that all back at once, so you're looking long-term in this game. What can you do to chip away at this before halftime, and then you look third quarter, fourth quarter, try and knock it down a little bit further. Warfel does the job there from the line.
This is always a big part in the game, right? The last 2 minutes of the first half. Can Fairfield go on a run?
Good cut. Lopez Seneschal to the bucket, puts it home.
It's great basketball. You flash Armstrong with the denial defense. Seneschal goes back door.
Fay swarming Fairfield defense. Into McClure, looking backdoor. Warfel, tough pass to handle. Last touch, Bobcats. And how much more comfortable does this Fairfield team look both offensively and defensively? They've gotten some things to go offensively and then making a few stops. They seem much more settled in than our first opening 5 minutes.
And Quinnipiac turning the basketball over a little bit. We've seen them cough it up and travel.
But now the Bobcats take it right back. 3-on-1 developing. Fairfield getting back. Around the way they work it, and the Stags able to force Quinnipiac now into a half-court set.
That's great transition defense.
That looked for sure a 3-on-1 developing, perhaps a layup for Quinnipiac. Not the case. To 10, McClure in the lane. Can't get it to go, and on the scene is Katie Armstrong. Under 40 seconds to play, about a 13-second differential between the game and shot clock as we approach halftime here in Albany. Quarterfinal play between number 1 Quinnipiac, number 9 Fairfield. In close, Fay there defending, turning away Armstrong.
Fay staying straight up. Armstrong wanted the call. That's a good look, though, to get Armstrong a post touch.
So 15 seconds left now. Where does Quinnipiac go? Dangerous pass from Fay.
That's a good job by Foley anticipating the pass by Fay. Almost picked it off.
Fay says, my bad. That was a little careless there with the basketball. Now 8 seconds left. Thornton on the move. Tied up. Arrow in favor of Fairfield. And now the Stags will get one more crack at it here in this first half.
A lot of momentum here. That bench on Fairfield, they're pumped up.
And they need the energy.
They're going to be more excited they can get a bucket here.
Here's Kramer now. 1 second left. Puts it up at the horn, and that'll fall just short. And we come to halftime here in Albany. So after the top-ranked Quinnipiac Bobcats, they of the 49-game winning streak in conference play, got out to a big lead. Fairfield, the 9 seed, battling back to make this one a game here at the break at the Times Union Center. The Bobcats lead it 31-22. Fairfield turning to the 3-ball and to their defense to stay close. We'll take a break and return with more here in Albany. Stay with us. Halftime at the Times Union Center, and number 1 Quinnipiac finds themselves in a game with number 9 Fairfield, 31-22. Steve Pizzazz, Greg Meskel here with you. We take a look at our bracket presented by New York Lotto. More to come in this women's tournament as Iona and Ryder will meet later today, and then tomorrow the 5-4 matchup, 6-3 matchup, a couple of good ones on the way with Canisius and Monmouth and Manhattan and Marist still to come, and a lot more basketball on the way here from Albany.
Yeah, what are your Riders having too? Stella Johnson, Player of the Year in the league. I think everybody thinks it's going to be Quinnipiac Marist, but Ryder has something to say about that. Stella Johnson, such a good player.
Been fun to watch this year. Manhattan representing with the Defensive Player of the Year as well. And a 31-22 lead. More to come here from the Times Union Center. We're back after this.
NCAA college basketball returns to Atlantic City in 2020 when the MAAC teams battle it out in historic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. This destination resort is the perfect backdrop for Division I men's and women's hoops, with excitement and entertainment on and off the court. Whether you come for the day or take advantage of special stay and play packages, Atlantic City's world-class shopping, dining, gaming, and spas await you. Make your plans now for the MAAC Basketball Championships in AC, March 10th through 14th, 2020.
Well, the kids wanted a puppy, but they can be really expensive. So to save money, I just found them a possum.
Dad, I think he's dead.
Probably just plain possum. There he is.
There's an easier way to save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car.
Halftime between Fairfield and Quinnipiac. Bobcats ahead of the Stags 31-22 in this quarterfinal matchup. Fairfield, the winner yesterday, is the first game of the tourney for Quinnipiac. As we look back at highlights, and Steve, early on, it was all Bobcats. Jen Fay got things rolling. They were hitting from the outside. Their defense was turning things into easy buckets. It was all clicking.
And you see a lot of it was in transition early on. Quinnipiac beating Fairfield down the floor, and the Stags having a tough time matching up in transition. But give Fairfield credit. After falling down by 14 points in this game, they have battled back. They cut it to 9 and had some momentum here going in to the locker room.
And as the highlights show you, it came from beyond the arc. That's where Fairfield started to get their groove back a bit as they hit a few threes. That opened things up a little bit, got them going on some confidence. They've made 4 of 10 triples, and yes, the Bobcats still in front, but it certainly feels like much more of a game than it was early on when Quinnipiac was blanking Fairfield in the early stages.
Yeah, I think they just stuck with what they do. I'm the one calling for all these adjustments, right? But they stick to what they do. They screen, they get players open, they try to get them open looks, and they did a good job, and the defense got much better.
Moral of the story, don't listen to Steve. We're back with more basketball here in Albany after the break. Who doesn't? It's a feel-good song. What do you think for tonight, Canisius Manhattan?
I think Manhattan's got a shot.
Yeah, I think so too. I think more than a shot, really.
Yeah,
but,
I think Manhattan's got a real shot to beat him. We'll see. We'll see. Obviously, I didn't see the Manhattan-Canisius game.
Yeah, Manhattan-esque as usual.
Right.
So you'd figure
Is that the game where Manhattan shot like 60-something%?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, Jesus, when they yeah.
I mean, when all those guys are hitting shots, that we saw yesterday, it's watch out.
You know what? They got a chance to be pretty good in the next few years.
Oh, yeah.
No, they lost a ton.
They did.
But if Paulie Cap comes back healthy, him and Warren Williams are going to be that's going to be a tough front line to deal with in this league.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a size to begin with.
Yeah.
Those are going to be two tough guys to deal with.
Because he'll just sprint up and down, block shots, try and finish the basket.
Yeah.
Williams can be your big back-to-the-basket guy.
Absolutely. Paulie Cap, your 4. Williams, your 5.
Yeah.
Samir Stewart really came on. He's a good little player.
Put him there,
Nehemiah Mack's going to be your
big 3.
Going to be your guy. Yeah. They need to find one more dude to be a scorer on the perimeter.
Yeah.
That's what they need. Like your Emi Endahar.
Third quarter on the way. With that, we look back at our first half stats. Fairfield and Quinnipiac, and the field goal percentage going in the right direction for the Stags, now up to 35%. And limiting turnovers will be key, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind drawing a couple of trips to the free throw line.
Yeah, a lot of their damage has been done on the perimeter. They've got the 4 3-point field goals, and that's really their strength. Second in the league in field goal percentage from 3 in MAAC games. I think it's all going to come, Greg, with the defensive end. Can you get enough stops and beat this Quinnipiac team?
The consistency that he has had with his Fairfield program, have finished in the top half of the MAAC standings in all 11 seasons prior. And that is consistency. Didn't get there this year as the 9 seed, but has kept this team competitive throughout his tenure. And we begin play, second half action here from the Times Union Center. Steve Bazaz, Greg Meskel joining you. Strautmane to begin and hits. Paula Strautmane, the senior from Latvia.
And right away, Quinnipiac doing damage where they did in the first half. Mid-range jumper against the zone.
Juf had the foul trouble early, goes right up and off the mark. Good fight in close. Lopez Senechal, new life now for Fairfield.
A textbook defense, though, by Strautmane in the post, staying vertical, straight up.
Lopez Senechal spinning, putting it up and hitting a difficult shot after she lost the handle.
Well, Senechal as good as advertised, right? Creating her own shot. And looked like she did bobble it a little bit, but is able to recover and put up a nice-looking jumper there. Maybe she can get going for the Stags.
She is not afraid of this Quinnipiac defense. It's had double figures in both meetings this year, including a 15.8 rebound effort in their 8-point loss to the Bobcats. McClure, the baseline jumper. And this has been the challenge all afternoon long for the Stags. Can those stops on defense then turn into offense?
If you charted the shots for Quinnipiac, mid-range, top of the key, they're probably over 50%. Nice shot here from Foley.
Casey Foley. Bobcats over pursue on the steal attempt. Fairfield taking advantage. It's a 6-point game, 33-27.
But where Quinnipiac seems to struggle from is right there. If you chart their shots, the corners versus the mid-range, if I'm Fairfield, I'm okay with the Bobcats shooting shots from the corners.
And Strautmane wide open there, could not knock it down. And now Fairfield can get a bit closer. Foley, the deal, Armstrong. Front rim, right back to Kramer. She thought about it.
Oh, I wanted her to let it fly, Greg.
I thought it was going up. The point guard mentality wants to distribute. Little backdoor. And Foley will pull it back out. Working on Faye. Shot clock to 12. Here's Foley, swatted away. What a block by Faye. Now she'll take it herself. Coast to coast. Faye puts it up. Counted and one. What a sequence.
Oh, what a play by Jen Faye. The closeout on Foley, who had just hit a three. The block, she runs it down, and the finish as Foley's sprinting back here. She doesn't want to let her get up. She fouls her hard, but Faye's still able to get that shot up.
Can't finish the three-point play, but end-to-end there for Jen Faye. Just as Fairfield thinks, here we go. We're making a rally, three-pointer on the way. Faye, a monster block. Now down, Armstrong turns around and gets the roll. Katie Armstrong hitting.
I'm still impressed with the strength of Faye. Foley sprinted her down. That was a hard foul, clean foul.
Faye for three. And she's fouled. Foley comes charging at her, and now Faye starting to assert herself here in this second half. She'll go to the free throw line for three.
Now Fairfield getting some open looks, though, on their end. And doing a good job of executing drive-and kick basketball.
So Foley connecting with her foot, with Faye's foot, as we see a second look. Not the hardest foul you ever saw.
Yeah, it's a tough call. Some shooters, when they shoot, they kick their legs out, and they get the foul call.
That was a Reggie Miller move years ago. And Faye missing on the first. It's a bang-bang play. We talk about it all the time. We get the chance of looking at it 5 times. Officials in the moment have to make that call.
Yep.
Second one is good. Changes coming now. Fairfield will turn to Sam Lewis. The sophomore from Maryland will come on. And Foley will take a breather. You'd imagine they want to get her back out there fast, but that was her third personal foul. And we're just getting started here in the second half.
Yeah, she'll have to sit for a little bit, but she's been playing well, hit a nice three just before, and there's no tomorrow. So eventually I think we'll see Foley fairly quick back in this game.
Reach in from McClure as Lopez Senechal was making the move. Second look here at McClure, just reaching in, trying to poke that one away. Quinnipiac always opportunistic on defense, trying to launch their fast break. Faye stepping out, speaking of that, now a race for it, and she's not going to get there in time. Quick hands on the perimeter, the long run.
And Jen Faye was a second teamer this year, and you see why. Being able to do it on both ends of the floor. Stroutmanet joined her on the second team. McClure was a first teamer.
And Faye, stellar season last year as well. She was the most outstanding player in that MAAC championship run for Quinnipiac. Shot clock to 6. Joof lets fly and hits. Deja Joof, they're calling it a long 2.
How about Joof came in? I know it was a long 2, but that was pretty close to a three-pointer. She only has taken 7 threes on the season. She's 2 of 7.
Shot clock was winding down. They needed her to go, and McClure on the other end answers, going right into Joof, lowering the shoulder and hitting.
How good is McClure in that area of the floor? It gets to the point now, Greg, you just can't let her catch the basketball there. Complete denial when she's in the high post.
Totally comfortable putting the ball on the floor. Does not need room. Here's room for 3. That's off the side rim on the attempt there for Sam Lewis. Now McClure on the move. McClure right around Joof, but can't hit in close. Warfel now the rebound. She can't finish, and Kramer comes up with it. I think McClure was surprised at how open she got. On the other end, now a foul on Hurd as Lopez Senechal was making her way down court.
It was a phenomenal move by McClure. Hesitation, stop and go right to the rim. I agree, Greg. I think she was shocked nobody was near her, and she blows the layup.
You go in there, that move, I think she thinks, I'm going to face some sort of contact. Bracing for that, it never came. Faye returns, and Taylor Hurd is back on. Here's Sam Lewis, and another foul on Quinnipiac. So this is another change from that first half. We talked about Fairfield taking no free throws. They've yet to go to the line, but starting to accumulate fouls now in the Bobcats.
Yeah, Faye gets called for the foul. Not letting Armstrong set a screen, trying to beat her to the spot.
Kramer, nowhere to go. Kramer on the drive, right down the lane, scoops it up with the right.
That's great basketball by Kramer. She calls for Joof to set a ball screen. She rejects the screen, uses her quickness to get to the rim.
And it is back to a 6-point game. McClure, Hurd all day, and hits. Taylor Hurd had time and drilled it.
How about the poise? And that's great execution against the zone defense. You ball screen the top of the zone, attack the wing player. When they commit to the basketball, you kick out to the corner. Textbook execution.
More than 50 made threes on the year for Hurd. Joof stepping up. Not there, now Hurd with the rebound. Directing traffic as Quinnipiac looks to squash this rally from Fairfield. Martin will set things up. Thought about calling her own number. Shot clock to 7. Martin steps into a 3. Faye there with the offensive rebound, but is stripped from behind.
Great hands there by Lewis.
Fairfield trying to keep this from becoming a double-digit deficit again. Dangerous pass. Under 4 to play, third quarter. Kramer nowhere to go. Shot clock to 7, and then an offensive foul. That's against Joof. So 42-33, Quinnipiac leads. The whistle on Joof, another foul, and an important player for this Stags team. So's Kramer, the layup to keep the number 9 seed close against this dominant juggernaut, Quinnipiac. Coach Tricia Fabry and the top-seeded Quinnipiac Bobcats ahead of Fairfield 42-33, and they've got two players into double figures, Jen Fay, Aaron McClure, both with 13 points apiece. Joe Frager has 12 points out of Casey Foley, currently on the bench with 3 fouls. Jen Fay taking a look, and now Hurd. Stroutmanet took her eye off the ball, was trying to catch and go at the same time, never gathered it up.
Yeah, just not great spacing that time. I think Hurd might have to use that drag dribble a little bit more, come a little bit higher, let Stroutmanet get to the corner.
Here's Armstrong. Armstrong checking, now shooting. And Fay. Jen Fay seems to be everywhere today in this one. Offense, defensive rebounds. Hurd on the other end. Taylor Hurd again.
What a nice looking shot Hurd's got, right? And you see that Quinnipiac has the green light to shoot threes in transition. And that time, sideline advance, right to the corner there. Hurd lets it fly.
And now back to a double-figure advantage. Lopez Senechal goes down, can't convert. Rebound controlled by Hernan Gomez on the follow. That's off the mark. The other end off the mark. And Armstrong controlling as Brittany Martin can't hit. So a little end-to-end action here. Lopez Senechal taking a look. Lopez Senechal turning the corner. Fading. Difficult shot, an air ball. Looks to be off the foot of Quinnipiac, though, so a lucky moment there for Fairfield. With 8 on the shot clock, and McClure and Edel Thornton return.
A tough shot there from Senechal. I think that when she comes off that ball screen, she's got to be ultra aggressive, get those shoulders low, try to turn the corner and get to the rim.
See what they go with, just 2 on the shot clock and then a foul. And Hurd bailing out Fairfield here with a foul with just 2 on the shot clock, and they'll take it.
Yeah, not a good foul that time, as really Fairfield had nothing going, and Lewis struggling to get a shot off. Hurd bails her out with the foul.
Fairfield hasn't scored in more than 3 minutes, so desperate to find the basket here with under 2 to play in the third quarter. Lopez Senechal being pestered by McClure. 2 women that can create their own shots. Lopez Senechal spinning, stripped, lost control, out of play. Good defense from McClure. Pestered Lopez Senechal enough on that spin, she lost control.
It's a good job and good help defense, too, from Stroutmanet. You see how well connected Quinnipiac is on the defensive end.
Helps when you have a whole host of seniors, juniors, and seniors working together. They know how this program works. Stroutmanet, backdoor cut. She's fouled.
Their execution against the zone has been phenomenal, and a lot of it's been McClure in that high post. Not only scoring now, but also dropping it off. Nice high-low basketball. Stroutmanet working underneath the zone, going to the other side of the rim. Again, just great zone execution. Quinnipiac defensively, too, they're a unit. Everybody's helping. Everybody's in the gap. Players that are on the weak side are at the midline. It's very impressive and so well coached by Tricia Fabry.
Fairfield now, they go back to their bench and bring back some of their key pieces as Foley and Joof return. And Joof right in the crowd there to haul that one in. Joof and Foley, this is big, Steve, both 3 personal fouls, so they'll have to watch themselves on defense.
Like we said, Greg, no tomorrow, right? So you got to live and die with some of your best players, and Joof and Foley are probably going to play here the rest of the way. And Foley's got 4 threes in this game. She leads the way for Fairfield, so they got to try to get her more action.
Kramer on the way to the hoop. Difficult angle. She was boxed in by a whole host of Bobcats with under a minute to play in the third. Now Fay goes around the back to McClure. And they'll regroup. McClure working on Hernan Gomez. Nowhere to go. Fay, good shovel down to Stroutmanet. Second effort is there.
And you see Stroutmanet working without the basketball, finding the open areas in the zone. Jen Fay, it's a great split of two players, and the shovel off to Stroutmanet. They work very well together.
It's a fun duo to watch. It's been a group that's tormented the rest of the conference, but if you're a Quinnipiac fan, you enjoy watching those two. Shot clock off, just 5 seconds left here, third quarter. Kramer got to put it up at the horn and doesn't draw iron, and that's all for the third quarter here. Quinnipiac uses a 9-0 run over the last 5 minutes or so to pull ahead 48-33. At the end of the third quarter, 1 quarter away from the 1 seed and defending champs moving on.
Basketball returns to Atlantic City in 2020 when the MAAC teams battle it out in historic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. This destination resort is the perfect backdrop for Division I men's and women's hoops, with excitement and entertainment on and off the court. Whether you come for the day or take advantage of special stay and play packages, Atlantic City's world-class shopping, dining, gaming, and spas await you. Make your plans now for the MAAC Basketball Championships in AC, March 10th through 14th, 2020.
But they can be really expensive. So to save money, I just found them a possum.
Dad, I think he's dead.
Probably just playing possum. There he is.
There's an easier way to save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Quinnipiac 10 minutes away from their 50th straight win in MAAC play. And plays like this have pushed them ahead. Paula Stroutmanet dumping it in on the second effort. 48-33 there in front. This was a 6-point game in this second half. And they have turned it on and begun to pull away now. And Fairfield will try and stage one more rally here against the top team in this conference.
Well, Quinnipiac, after Fairfield made a run at it, Quinnipiac did what they normally do, and that's buckle down defensively. And Fairfield was one of their last 9 shooting the basketball. And they were shooting 50% at one point.
Player down there, Thornton goes down, seems to be favoring her ankle as she hops back up. Juf got the rebound. And a new shot clock. Thornton on her feet, seems to be okay. As Kramer will take control. This is a Fairfield team that has had to adjust in the face of all kinds of adversity and challenges as Kramer is off the mark, and then we'll stay right here. Juf is fouled. Kendra Landy, the senior, supposed to be their starting point guard, tears her ACL, just the 10th game, out for the rest of the year, and that pushes the junior Sam Kramer into the point guard role. And what a year she has had, unfortunately losing her dad right around Christmas to lymphoma, and the whole team shows up the next day to attend the funeral despite having to play this Quinnipiac team a day later, there to support their teammate. And they lose that game. That's secondary, not really important, but they wear these family shirts during warm-ups. It shows the close bond this group has, even dealing with injuries, family death, so many things to face.
When you play a sport, especially a team sport in college, I mean, that's your family. You see them every day. You battle with them. You spend so much time with your family, and that's phenomenal by her teammates to support her and her family like that.
It's so true. Most college athletes, Steve, you know it, you played. When you're in college during those times as Juf with the air ball, certainly you see your college teammates much more than your actual nuclear family.
Absolutely, and you do everything together, right? And you hang out, you watch film, your roommates, you eat together. I mean, that is your extended family. And you see this Fairfield unit, by the way, and something that even in adversity through this game, they are always talking to each other, encouraging one another. It's a very positive unit.
McClure in close, drawing the foul. And Kramer, folks, need a chance writing a really moving first-person story for ESPN.com not long ago, leading into this conference tournament, about that whole family tragedy and how her teammates helped her in getting back on the basketball court. And just really a great piece of writing there by the junior from Bernardsville, New Jersey. Foul there on Armstrong, her third, so McClure will get another here. And knocks it down. McClure just a throwback player. She'd thrive in the pre-3-point era. Would be fine back in the day, mid-range, going to the basket.
She's so impressive in that mid-range and so efficient too.
3-pointers there for Lopez Senechal.
That's a great find by Foley, driving baseline there and really going to the right and throwing it back to the left wing. Finding Senechal, it's a good look.
Stratmonet, the pull-up. Too strong, and here's Kramer out of the pack. Lopez Senechal looking for Juf, not there. Now Juf takes it. Trying to go up and under, is stripped, and Martin comes away with it. Faye flashing at that foul line. Now Martin for three. There it is. Brittany Martin cans it from downtown. And Quinnipiac continues to add, now in front 53-36, and Fairfield will call for time as this one is starting to slip away. 6:39 left in the fourth quarter, and it looks as if Quinnipiac will be moving on here in Albany. We will take a timeout and return with more from the Times Union Center. Great.
Is this the media?
I believe so. Okay,
Gotcha.
It.
Oh, man.
Welcome back to Albany. Only fitting on International Women's Day. We're watching some high-level, excellent women's college basketball and one of the top teams around, Quinnipiac, putting on a show here in the second half as they've begun to pull away from Fairfield. And Steve, this is what number one seeded teams do. This is what teams that win 49 in a row in conference play do. Maybe they take a punch, but then they battle back and pull away.
Absolutely, and they answer with their style, which has been defense for them, especially this season. They have been lights out on the defensive end. And the way they share the basketball and offense, too. You have a lot of talented players that all have the green light, and I think it makes them that much more unselfish. And they just work that ball and find the open player. And again, what a great job Tricia Fabry does and her staff. They're so well coached and so well prepared for each and every game.
They just continue to make trips to the postseason, whether it's the NCAA tournament 4 trips there, the women's NIT 4 trips there. But it was not always this way. And she'll be the first to tell you. You go back to her early days at Quinnipiac, you're talking about 2-win seasons. When they were in the Northeast Conference before moving to the MAAC, it was not a situation of them running through the conference. This has been, in the grand scheme of things, a more recent development that they have turned, and she has turned this program into such a dominant force.
Well, we got to find out what her secret is then, right? Because they've certainly found their way.
They have. Forcing up at the horn, and that's off the mark. McClure, good save there from Warfel, but could not keep it in bounds, and falling into our camera crew there. Seems to be okay, and that's good to see. Back on her feet. Under 6 minutes here in the fourth, 53-36, Quinnipiac in front.
I mean, if you really look at this conference has been dominated by 2 teams. Well, how about Marist won 9 championships in a row? Is that incredible?
Seems like a typo. When you see that written down, it's, that someone must have made a mistake. That can't be true.
Marist. Right. And then they actually won 10. They won their first one, didn't win, and then won 9 in a row. And talk about gold standard in this league. Brian Georges and Tricia Fabry.
Seriously. Nice job there by Casey Foley going hard to the basket. You have those runs, and we know Marist made some noise in the NCAA tournament as well, but that's that evolution then. You want to not just get there, and you hear it on both sides, men's and women's teams, in conferences like the MAAC as Foley hits the first. Great, we're going back to the tournament. We want to win our conference. But now it's about being ready to do things beyond that. Go to the Sweet 16 as Quinnipiac has done. Go to Elite 8, try and push a little further, right? There's no reason these teams can't aspire to that. You've seen what some of these mid-major conferences have done, especially in men's basketball, where they've sent lesser-known teams onto the Final Four.
I think you're right, and I think that's the evolution of a program. Now you start winning conferences, and you start dominating conferences like Quinnipiac's doing. Well, what's the next step? And you want to be a ranked team, you want to get a higher seed in the NCAA tournament, and you want to have a chance to keep competing at the next round.
Offensive foul there on Faye. The other thing to think about as we see a second look here, Faye just kind of backing her way down, and Stags take a tumble there as Foley goes down. But the recruiting, when you start to win, and not that these coaches don't still recruit, but boy does it open up some doors when you say, well, we go to the NCAAs fairly regularly, and we win conference titles, and we're going to play high-level teams. We're going to be very competitive. Then you're opening yourself up to a different caliber of athlete.
It works hand in hand, right? That winning certainly breeds better recruits and better culture. I think Quinnipiac, too, they have excellent resources and a beautiful arena to play in, and all that matters.
Foley breaks free for 3, and she continues to be sharp from the outside. Casey Foley.
Foley's played an excellent game here, and she was the one who drew the foul call on the moving screen on Faye just before. And knocking down now 5 threes. She got 17 points. I also like the way she's always positive, always clapping it up and encouraging her teammates. Great leader.
You can tell she has a good personality that the team likes to be around as Martin knocks that down. They showed a video during the last time out of her having fun answering questions with one of her teammates. Seems like they get along quite well, but Martin coming right back to silence that effort from Fairfield. The jumper and the foul, and the Bobcats continue to have answers. Quinnipiac trying to silence one last Fairfield rally, and Brittany Martin, the jumper and the foul. Free throw to come here. Stags trying to battle their way back in here, but might have run out of time in this one against number 1 Quinnipiac. 18-0 in the conference this year, 23-6 overall. Now 8 straight 20-win seasons under head coach Tricia Fabry, and the free throws missed, but they'll get it back, and that'll work for the Bobcats. They can take more time off the clock here.
And always frustrating for a coach. I looked over at Joe Frager. Offensive rebound. You're trying to come back in the game. You can't give up offensive rebounds off of free throws.
Shot clock to 8. That's a frustrating point. Martin, the floater. They scrum for it, and it'll go off of Fairfield. So now Quinnipiac's getting an extended possession here on offense. Edel Thornton will put this one in play. And now they can work on the perimeter again. Stroutmanet, good defense. Lopez Senechal comes over.
It's great hands by Senechal.
Juve controlling. Big battle. Oh, and Warfel took a shot to the face there from Armstrong. Seems to be okay. Warfel favoring that right eye. Let's take a second look here. And it was a big chop across the head there. I think Katie Armstrong just looking to get position and being aggressive about it, but came up and caught Warfel right in the forehead there around her right eye.
Well, quite honestly, that was a good call. I mean, that was quite the shot.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
I don't think anything malicious, like you said, just fighting for position. but hit her, and that's the right call. And it's a good job by the referees.
And now a timeout called by Quinnipiac with 3:39 left. We'll keep things here. The interesting thing about that, and we think back to the men's game we saw yesterday with the flagrants called on the gather, and a little surprised there wasn't more of a discussion about that, just given the physical nature. I know it was unintended, just coming into kind of clear position, but as we saw a second look there, pretty good shot to the head.
Yeah, in the men's game, it seems like they're going to the monitor all the time for stuff like that, and I was expecting to see monitor trip too.
Coach Fabry huddling with her group, 430 wins in her storied career at Quinnipiac, but this has got to be a bit of an odd matchup, and not the first time she's done it. She's a Fairfield alum. She was an excellent player in her time at Fairfield, a 1991 graduate in their Hall of Fame. She's part of the all-time MAAC team when it comes to women's basketball in this conference, so has fond memories of Fairfield, but now doing the job here with Quinnipiac. Martin all day for three, and hits.
That's a good-looking shot from Martin, and she shoots a pretty good percentage, best on the team, 36% from three.
Here's Foley now. She's been looking for the triple, somehow threads the needle to Kramer. Off the front rim, good hustle. And Kramer will regather. Under 3 to play here, fourth quarter. Foley puts on the brakes, tries to thread that to Lopez Senechal, and it's taken away.
Tried to thread the needle one too many times, right?
Just about 2.5 to play in this one, and looking good for the Bobcats to move on, the 1 seed to advance here. Shot clock to 6. Stroutmane swinging around. Martin, back-to-back threes perhaps. Doesn't get the roll there. And Foley out of the pack. Kramer controlling. Foley bumped on the way through. And she'll be a big loss for this team. They are excited about their youth, of course. Lopez Senechal, Conference Rookie of the Year. Excited to have her going forward, but then you're talking about seniors like Foley, Juve, the redshirt senior. Those are 2 key pieces you'll be losing.
I really like the way Foley plays. Just all heart and always talking and encouraging her teammates. She's somebody who's upped her scoring average every year that she's been in school, and upped her 3-point field goal percentage. Best she shot in her career, 36% this year, and scores double figures, 10 points a game. So she will be a big loss. And you talk about Juve being a third-team player.
And an impressive season from her. Had surgery before the season, able to come back from that and then still have a big impact. Stroutmane flashing free. Puts it up off the window. Difficult angle, speaking of seniors. And Stroutmane banks that one in. She'll get at least another game after this, as Quinnipiac has gone in front now by 18. Juve. And bump there. Foul will go on Warfel. This Quinnipiac team, they are full of veteran players as well. We talked about Stroutmane being a senior, Thornton, Fay, Martin, McClure, all seniors. But it's been one of those programs where they have had people ready. They just bring a new wave in, and the pipeline is strong.
And those players were the wave a couple years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Now they'll go into their bench as Jaden Ward Jr. from Wisconsin will come on. We'll also see Mackenzie DeWeese. Hurd returns. And Foley checks out to a warm ovation as the senior subs out, and hugs for everybody on the bench as Casey Foley, the senior from Ardsley, New York, subs out for the final time and went out firing, 18 points, 5 3-pointers, and right behind her, Hadijatu Diouf, the redshirt senior from Senegal. An inspired effort from her as well, and she subs out. And talked about that family atmosphere, not unique to Fairfield. All of these teams very close-knit, but lots of hugs there as those two check out for the final time here. And a nice move there from Joe Frager, subbing them out, getting a chance there to embrace them and not just the final horn sounding.
Absolutely, and you know, last year there was maybe a famous one, if you will, Sydney Johnson and Tyler Nelson of Fairfield embracing Sydney Johnson in tears. We talk about March Madness being the best time of the year. It's the best time of the year. Maybe the worst part of March Madness, though, is that and seniors having to play their last game and what it's meant to them throughout their careers to play college basketball and be student athletes. And, you know, congratulations, Diouf and Foley go out, and seniors who've had great careers. And like you said, it's always nice when the coaches do that for their seniors, to let them come off. And
yeah, nice move there to get the applause and the fans get to recognize it. Off the mark there as a follow attempt from DeWeese and a foul. Eden Nibelink has come on, a sophomore from Minnesota for Fairfield. And no surprise, our Geico player of the game, Jen Fay, 13 points, 5 out of 7 from the field. And Steve, she set the tone early, was making moves, and then who's going to forget that block, coast-to-coast layup and the foul? That's easily our play of the game we've seen in this one.
No doubt about it. And like you said, she was great in the beginning. She hit that three early on in transition to make it 7-0 Quinnipiac, and really they didn't look back. You said it, the block, the rundown, and the finish. And Foley fouled her hard, too.
Yeah.
That was a great foul, not letting her try to get the shot up. But the strength of Jen Fay was so impressive.
That's the strategy, right? If you're going to foul somebody, don't let them make the basket, and it just didn't work out. It's more a compliment to Fay, as Amani Free, a freshman from New York, has also come on for Quinnipiac. And Free letting fly and hitting Amani Free. Just her 4th three-pointer on the year, and the freshman connects.
That shot looked good, huh?
Smooth stroke from Free.
Maybe she's part of that next wave.
Probably. Just 5 seconds left here. Final moments. Hernan Gomez from 3. That's good. The younger sister of NBA players Juan and Willie knocking it down, but it's all Quinnipiac in this one. The Bobcats are moving on. They run that streak to 50 straight wins in MAAC play. They improve to 24-6 on the year, and the 1 seed moves on. Fairfield's season ends here in Albany at 11-20 on the year, and handshakes all around. A strong, balanced effort as usual for Quinnipiac. 3 in double figures, 15 for McClure, 13 for Fay, 12 for Martin.
Well, Quinnipiac wins the way that they've been winning all season, and that's with their defense. They hold Fairfield to 34%, 17 of 49. Actually, 8 of the 17 field goals from Fairfield were three-pointers. And they also forced Fairfield into 19 turnovers, and that's been their bread and butter all year long. And we talked about them being the 3rd-ranked team in the country in scoring defense. They only give up 46 points per game in MAAC play. Let's send it down to Greg Meskel, who's with Tricia Fabry.
Yeah, we're here courtside with Coach Fabry. This is what Quinnipiac is expected to do as the 1 seed. How do you handle all those expectations and then come out here and deliver?
Well, I thought we were just free and easy all week. This team has a real penchant for waiting for March to roll around, especially tournament time, and then the season gets fun. So, credit Fairfield. Joe Frager has done a heck of a job with this team in the last 10 games. They have really gotten a lot better, and they're a tough team to defend, to get prepared for. But our girls were just ready to go today. 40 minutes of some really good basketball.
Fairfield battles back. They get it to within 6. You're able to turn to such a balanced approach. Faye, McClure, Martin, everybody seems to do their part.
That's what's so nice about having Faye, McClure, Brittany Martin, Edel Thornton. You could go down the line, Paula Stroutmane. Having those veterans have this postseason experience when it matters the most is really comforting as a coach.
Coach, you're moving on. Best of luck going forward.
Thank you very much.
That's Coach Fabry for Quinnipiac, and now we're joined by Jen Fay. Congratulations on the win. How are you doing? I have to first ask you, the play of the game. You block a shot, take it in for a layup and the foul. Take me back to that moment.
We were just trying to play a lot of pressure defense. That's what we do. So, I was just trying to get up in the gap. I saw I got the steal and, just ran down the court as fast as I could on the other end, took the hit, and finished it.
You're the 1 seed. You've won all these games in a row. Everyone expects Quinnipiac to move on, but then you have to go out and do it. What's the challenge like to live up to the expectations?
Yeah, obviously we're getting every team's best shot on every given night, but you saw B-Mart and Taylor Hurd hit some big threes when we needed it today, so, we play a team game, and that's what we're all about.
Jen Fay and the Bobcats moving on. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Steve, back to you.
And great job there by Jen Fay. And she said it. They play team basketball. And how about her answer about the defense, too? She just wanted to get in the gap and play pressure defense. And you can tell how well coached they are. So Quinnipiac moves on, and they'll play the winner of the Canisius Monmouth game. That's tomorrow at 2:30.
Seed takes it. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Have a great afternoon.